Diane Pittman with the Freedom Please channel and essenceofme.com. I'm coming today with this introduction as I prepare you all for this tutorial. I did not realize until I was going through the footage that the tutorial is extremely long. So I am going to break it up in parts, and in the description I will tell you it's part 1, part 2, part 3, and I do believe I'll do it in 3 parts. The beginning part is going to show you how to get actually, let's show you the piece, huh? We're going to be making a scarf with the Red Heart Boutique ribbons. And this particular color, as you may have seen in the demonstration that I uploaded, this is the city color. Yes, city. And I am showing you how to knit this scarf. I will break it up into 3 parts. The first part will show you how to get started. The middle portion is really going to be just kind of showing you how it progresses and everything. And then the last portion will show you how to close it off. And I do share how I close it off. Again, this is strictly how I do it. I was unable to follow the patterns that I saw before, and so I share with you in the tutorial how I learned how to kind of do it on the fly and by eye, and then worked my way from there. So this is the piece once again. Please feel free to leave me comments, questions, any suggestions that you have for future tutorials. If this is something, that you would like for me to do here on my channel. And I'm doing this one because I was asked so many times and so many questions on Facebook, because we see this beautiful yarn and we know it looks great, but how do we use it? Which is why I uploaded the demonstrations. So I would suggest you take a look at the demonstration about the differences or the comparisons between the Red Heart Boutique's sachet and the Red Heart Boutique's ribbons yarn to decide what type of yarn you would like to use. And if you decide to use the ribbons yarn, take a look at the demonstration on how to prepare that yarn for usage, because it is packaged in a very interesting way. And I say interesting because I've never seen it before, and maybe you all have, but I haven't. And so I share how I prepare the yarn for usage, and then the tutorial will pick up after that preparation. I hope that you enjoy this tutorial, and please leave your feedback, comments, suggestions on how, if there's any others you'd like for me to do, or any suggestions on how I can make it better in the future. I've done maybe one other one. Well, actually, take that back. I've done several others of tutorials, but this is my first one for knitting, and I don't know if I'll do any more for knitting. The next ones that I have in my bank right now are going to be for crochet, for the crochet along, coming up in January. So enjoy, and let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to interacting with you all in the comment section, and I hope that we can talk again sooner than later. Take care and enjoy the tutorial. Goodbye.
Hello everybody, I am now going to attempt to do a tutorial on creating a scarf using the Red Heart Boutique ribbons, and I'm going to knit it. Now, the first thing I have to do is give a disclaimer. I have only been knitting for about 2 weeks. So, and and I learned how to knit using a DVD, which is hysterical. So anyways, here's the ribbon. And even with all that said, I guess I have to finish that disclaimer and a caveat. These things turn out beautifully. And if you look at my Cast Off Crew video for December, I think it's the 13th, you'll see a couple of these in the video. So here we go. Here is the boutique ribbons yarn up close, or ribbon up close. And here we go. The first thing that I do, I'm going to try, let's see here. I'm going to try to lay this out. Okay, I showed you all in the last video how to stretch it out. As you see, I left it in a circle, and I just kind of have it spread out here on the table. I'm going to just leave it that way so that I can try my best to do this so that I can show you my hands and get you started. The first thing that I do is I go through and I grab my end, which is here, and I just kind of untangle it a little bit or untwist it so that it's flat like the other end. You want to also make sure that the side with the openings with the holes is facing upward. So here we go. You know, when people ask for these tutorials, it is so very interesting on, you know, figuring out how to record them so that you can actually see. Because if you learn from tutorials on YouTube, you know what you don't like. And one of the things that I don't like is I don't like when I can't clearly see people's hands, because that's the way that I learn best. Pictures are helpful, but if I can see it first and then go back to the pictures, I can do a lot better. Okay, so this is stretched out. You'll see like this bunching here. This is from where I took out the string from that knot, and it'll be okay. It won't show. Usually you won't have any issues. Okay, so here we go. So you grab your needle. I'm using, honestly, I don't know what the size is. This came in that nifty kit that I also showed you all on one of my yarn haul videos. I believe it's like a 5 or a 5.5. The yarn will always tell you a recommended hook size. So let me go ahead and show you that here. See if it'll adjust. Here we go. See here? It'll tell you what size they recommend for the knitting needles, which is, I really wish this would zoom better, but it's not. I'm sorry. For the knitting needles, it says 5, and for a crochet hook, it says 6. So I believe this is a 5.5, even though usually it's marked. But since it's a bamboo stick, it's not listed on this one. And let me also make mention of that as I get started. When you're doing this, if this is your first time doing them, I highly suggest using a bamboo knitting needles, because this stuff is extremely slippery, and if you're not careful, it will all slide off and hit the floor, which is not cool. Okay, so what I first do is I fold it over. So I'm going to show you that again. This is so difficult. Here we go. See the hole there? So what I want to do is fold it over to match another hole a little. And all we're doing is taking this raggedy end and hiding it on the inside. And until you have one opening. And I'm going to slide that onto my needle. Okay. What you want to do is we're going to skip a hole and work in the next hole. And you know, usually with your needle, you're going to come from the back and go forward, inserting your knitting needle. Okay? I'll show you again. And as I move forward, you will see me just kind of trying to adjust the ribbon if it's kind of turned, because you want it to be upright. Again, we're skipping a hole here, and we're going to the next hole. If I can get this untangled. Here we go. Let's try this again. So it's one that we're going to skip, and we're going to the next one, and we're going to insert from the front to the back. And so now, and these two honestly are going to count as one, and I'll show you how. We're going to cast on, for this one I'm going to cast on 6. I've tried it with 6, I've tried it with 8, and I've even tried it with 12, and they all turn out beautiful but different. Again, skip 1, go into the next. We're going to go from the front to the back. 3, skip 1, go into this one from the front to the back. 4, skip this one, go from the front to the back. 5, skip one, go to the next 6. I'm going to pull this back. Oh, I did 7, so I'm going to pull that off. Talking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm counting these 2 as 1 because I'm actually going to rid myself of that extra one in a little bit. That's from where I looped it over, and that's how I help to secure the ends until I get to the end. Okay. Okay. So once you have them all casted on, I'm just straightening them and pulling them down. You're going to turn this, and this hook will be in your left hand, and this will be, you grab your other needle. Again, I don't know the technical knitting terminology people asked, so I'm going to show you what I did. You're going to use the knit stitch. You're going to insert from the front. Here's the stitch hole here. You're going to insert your hook from the front to the back, coming on the back side of the other needle. You're going to yarn over with the ribbon. Again, we're skipping one, using the next one, and you're going to wrap it onto that back needle, going from the back. You see how I'm going behind it, from the back to the front. It's just, you're going to just hook it with that little piece of string right here. You see that? Again, from the back to the front. Now it's on there. Here we go. And you're going to bring it forward and pull it off. I'm going to try that again. And again, it's so difficult to see. So here we go. Front to the back. Here we go again. So again, I'm going to see if I can see. I'm going to try to see if I can zoom in. Pardon the blurriness in order for me to get closer and show you like really slowly. So here it's casted on. When you pull the stitch, you see how it has that opening there? You see it? What you're doing is you're sticking your needle through that opening, and we're going behind the other. So there, see that? Then you grab your ribbon. You should be coming from the back, and you're going to skip one, which is this one, and then you're going to use the next opening, which is this one, and you're going to go from the back to the front onto your hook, and then we're going to bring it forward, still holding that stitch, and pulling it off. Okay? Do it one more time with less talking so that I can focus and you can see. Here we go again. I'm going to do it again. And here's the last one. So what I do, I actually go behind both of them. It'll be a little tight. It's okay. I want to just make sure that end is in there securely. Now, I always, in the beginning especially, have to count and make sure that I didn't lose any stitches. So this is how you count: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this is the beginning of your piece. Here we go. We turn. Now, this is not a tutorial for a person that knows probably nothing about knitting, because I don't know the correct words, and also this yarn is really difficult to see because it is so thin, but it does make finding where to insert your stitches a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few more. See this? See how this does? How you have to be so careful. How, because of that, it'll catch on. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do some more with little talking and more working, because this is, my brain has to concentrate. I don't know why I have this habit. When I'm knitting, like when I finish the row, it's like I want to toss the other needle and then I have to go looking for it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here's what we have so far. I'm going to go through a couple more rows, just doing it before I kind of stop and come back in a little bit, okay? I'm hoping that I can do this around the camera and not take all day to do one. I would strongly suggest while you're doing this to not wear any sort of jewelry. I usually have on my wedding bands, but they seem to catch on to this material, and so I've learned to not wear them so that I will not have that issue. Okay. Now here's what we have. When you are pulling, again, it's going to start just going in a circle and it won't tangle. However, over time, because of the switching from your right hand to your left hand as you cast off the stitches, it will begin to twist along the shaft, I guess, of the yarn. What I do when that begins to happen is I literally hold it up and just turn the whole piece. You see that? And untwist it before picking up the needle and continuing. Now, I'm going to do one more row. And see, this is just, so I believe it's going to cooperate today. We know how it is. So here we go. You may hear my puppy snoring in the background. She's a snorer, and I am in her space to record this with as much light as possible. Now this will go a lot faster for you once you get going. Right now I'm going extremely slow because of the of having to position the camera and the tripod. But I hope you see, and this is what begins to take form. And it'll just lay over the stitches. It turns out really, really, really pretty. And it only takes one skein to do an entire scarf, which is helpful. And now the way that you decide on how many stitches that you want to cast on is based on whether you want your scarf thinner or if you want it thicker. What I mean by that is if you do it as 6 stitches casted on, you're going to have the appearance of somewhat like a boa. How it's narrow and has and it's a lot longer. If you add more stitches casted on, you will have it will have more width, therefore less length. If you intend to only use one skein of yarn, one skein, I'm gonna call it yarn, one skein of the yarn in order to make your piece, which I would suggest because that's like part of the wonderful thing about it. One skein of yarn makes one project and you're ready to go. Now for some reason I have something really strange going on here, so I'm going to allow my yarn, there we go. I'm gonna see if this will make it better. There. There. And see if I can take some of that glare off my fingers for one last row, because this is going on way longer than I wanted it to. This camera's telling me, lady, I'm not meant to make tutorials. That's why you can't see anything. Okay. Okay. I'm almost done. I am not very fast at knitting yet, so this may take me a lot longer than someone else that has been knitting for longer.